Welcome to another edition of Vigorously with me, Val Kleinhans. Getting into the music a little bit this episode. We know Lindy-Fay Hella from Wardruna, and I'm super excited to chat with her about her experience in music and the new project Islet. Welcome, Lindy. I am so glad that you're here.
Thank you. Super happy to be here with you.
You've spent so much time in music. I mean, you're a legend. What sparked your interest in music to begin with? I want to know that story.
Oh, I've been interested in music since I was as long as I can remember. But I do, but I used to live, in my father's house where it was very, very cold when I was little.
Mm.
I mean, I am born in 75, so I can still remember I was like 3, 4 years old. And in order to keep the warmth, I walked around one of these electrical heaters that was standing in the middle of the room, and I walked around and listening to music,
Oh,
and I
okay.
did that. But that was I loved it. So that was my first memory of music. Being into music, because I could do that activity for a long time. I mean, I did it every day.
Right. And Norway, I
Yeah.
mean, there's so many cultural exports from the country itself, music being a big one of them. We know the black metal scene, we know the metal scene, we know the folk scene. How much of that was going on in the 70s when you were sort of getting exposed to music? What was the Norwegian music scene like then?
It was some prog rock going on, I know, at that
Yeah.
time. It was some punk bands that was actually quite famous in Norway. Yeah, that is what I can because I don't remember that well. I just remember that I had some friends that knew someone. No, not friends. I mean, some of the grown-ups that knew someone in a punk band and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So it was mostly like alternative rock and
Okay.
punk. What I yeah
Yeah.
remember from that time.
Makes sense. We love the progressive sound too. You have
Yeah.
experienced and experimented with so many different sounds musically, electropop, metal, punk, grunge, even a little bit of an African style. What keeps you willing to experiment and explore those sounds all these years later?
I think it's because I'm curious about new things. I don't have a set idea of what's going on, what's going to happen next. And that's part of the fun, is to just you get inspiration every day for something.
Hmm.
And then I just see, yeah, okay, who am I working with for now? For example, am I working with collaborating with someone, and I get the inspiration from travel. So I don't have any like this what I have to do. If you hear hissing, it's just my cats are arguing. I hope. Come on.
I have a cat too.
There we
It's okay. I have a cat too. It's funny. Some cats love other cats, and some cats want nothing to do with other cats. They're completely
Yeah,
different.
true. Yeah. These two are frenemies, but yeah.
I love it. And speaking of those collaborations, one of my favorite things about following you on Instagram are the wholesome, just adorable pictures with you and Gal from Gorgoroth. I know you've been friends for some time. You're definitely, that's a relationship that means a lot to you as friends. How did that start? I would love to hear the story behind that. Why is that an important person in your life?
Yeah, we have known each other for now almost 30 years. Been friends for almost 30 years. And it started. I remember exactly when it started, because I didn't really know who he was, because I had this, I knew people in the metal scene, but I didn't. That was not what. Yeah, we were hanging out. All musicians in Bergen was hanging out anyway,
Okay.
and I was into this electro alternative kind of thing. And me and another guy called Arne Sandvold, we had this duo called Ulan Gansa, and we had a few concerts. And Christian were at Ogal. He were at one of those concerts. And what he had said to one of the people working there was that I want backstage to say hello to her.
Aw.
you know. Yeah, because he liked the music. So he
Mhm.
wanted to get to know me. And then it just clicked. We were like, yeah, have
Yeah.
been great friends since that day.
Okay.
And
So
then I, of
music,
course, eventually, huh?
yeah. Music was the mutual interest there.
Yes, and he likes also like I do, like because of course I checked out his stuff and oh, this is fantastic vocals and I think because I didn't really know, I honestly didn't know who he was, but he's a great vocalist, of course, and was a known
Yes.
musician back
Yes.
then, also. But he is very versatile in his what kind of music he likes. So he has no problems with electronic music or like alternative pop and things like that. So yeah, we just found each other in a way.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Mm.
Was it ever like it's refreshing to see because we see him with this onstage persona as this big tough guy with, but you get to see the guy behind all that. Was any of was the onstage persona ever intimidating for you when it came to that relationship, or is it funny to you maybe to see him as that when you know him as a very human, real guy?
Yeah, it was never intimidating for me, but I have a high level of what I find to be intimidating, I think.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
like a very high level of it. But also, my oldest son, he was little back then when we started to know each other, and he has
Mhm.
so a lot of fond memories, and he actually started to laugh one time. He saw a video that was on YouTube that this
Yes.
was like when he said something about the famous Satan or whatever it is. And my oldest boy, he laughed so much. And he was
Yes.
like 10 years old when he saw that he had to replay it. But like, he couldn't stop laughing because he didn't know him like that. So he kind of, what is he saying? What is he doing now? Because he
Yeah.
was, yeah, he just know him as this cozy Christian, which is a very nice person.
Yeah, that
Mm.
is so beautiful. It's so beautiful to see behind all that because that's what we get in the media. That's what we get like on TV. That's what we get on YouTube. This guy Satan, but he's actually really cool, calm, fun friend. That's awesome to see. I know you've also mentioned before that you appreciate word economy when it comes to your music. Like the less words that means more of a focus on the sounds. When did you reach that realization when it came to your music? Because that's clever.
Yeah, oh, yeah, thanks. It's always been like that. And also the project Ulangansa, which also played synths and singing, it was never with words. So
Hmm.
it's just because it's easier to make melodies for me, it's easier to make melodies without any words. And I think maybe it's just because I started with playing synths before I started singing,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
So I think of just I used to think of voice just as another instrument or like a synth, like you can do a lot of things with your own voice also.
Hmm.
But with that said, it's like when I have words, they are very important for me. So I can use a long time to figure out those very few words that I have on a song.
But that means there's substance to it. That there's substance to it. There's a reason. There's a purpose. We definitely resonate with that as fans because we know that you're choosing that for a reason. I love that. So were there any challenges to Islet or just the project in general, separating that between what you do with Wardruna?
Mm. No, if you're thinking about if it was some challenge with doing Wardruna and then doing
Yeah,
Islet, or
yeah.
no, 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 not at all. And Einar is also someone I've been started working with for many years already, and he was also at one of these concerts with, believe it or not, with Ulan Gansen. That's why I am in in the Wardruna in the first place. So he
Yes.
knows that I have, yeah. So I have always, because I'm so impatient. So I always do. I've been a guest on several things, and I do. It isn't a obstacle for like
Mhm.
I've told Einar that just Einar, it's if it's Wardruna concerts, I prioritize Wardruna, so he knows that
Okay.
it won't be because I've been in there for the longest time. So it's like if it's Wardruna concerts, I have to wait with my own concerts or the Farne, but it's possible to work around it. So it has not been one single obstacle, I would say.
Yeah. Do you ever have to protect yourself from burnout? Like, do you ever get tired doing both
Yes.
and then have to
I have.
reprioritize?
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because I actually have autoimmune disease that I had since I was 16. And
Oh.
I used to be tired absolutely all the time. And to shorten down that story, it's like something that is similar to narcolepsy, but it
Mhm.
isn't. They haven't figured out what it was. But anyways, now I'm almost 50, so I found a way to rest, and that can be I rest very well in music. I don't get tired of doing music the same way as I
Okay.
doing other jobs. I don't know why, but it's just. But I make sure to I can feel when I have to rest,
Mhm.
and that I make sure to do. So I'm resting also with spending a lot of time on my own, actually,
Mm.
to not have a lot. It's not that I don't like people. Of course, I like people, but to kind of just relax, and I have to spend a lot of time on my own also.
Yeah, it takes time to process. Sometimes you can be so overstimulated with everything you're doing that you just need a break. That's completely
Yes,
normal.
yes, exactly. But it did take a while before I figured that out, actually, several
Mhm.
years. But after I figured that out, I got much better with health, and now I feel it's under control.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you how did you figure out that you could have both? You could make time for those breaks and then still enjoy music as you like to?
Uh, I figured that out some years ago, really. It's just how I kind of, um, what can I say, how I set up the time
Mhm.
during the day. And also, I don't know if that has anything to do with, but I like to work fast when I
Mhm.
first work. So it's like compromised.
Yeah.
I'm fond of kind of being in the now and just throw out ideas, and then if I'm on another project, I can kind of evaluate, is this good to use here or not? But it's like I've done it for so many years that I can feel if things are right or not right. And
Okay.
if it's not right, I just do it over again.
Yeah, that makes sense. And take your time with it. There's no hurry. That's the beautiful
Yeah,
part about what we can do. I mean, with the technology that's available to us, we have, I think, a lot more creative control than we did years ago.
yeah, absolutely. And also then it's possible, which I do. I create ideas, I record at home, and then I
Mhm.
just send it away to those who the ideas I have. And only by doing that, then I don't have to travel for that is very uh, helpful for
Yeah.
the relaxing. Then I can sit in my own living room and just do my thing and then send it away. So yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I love that you mentioned
So
synthesizers earlier too. Islet to me, when I heard the little bit of it that I have, it sounds kind of like a love letter to synthesizers a little bit because there is that sound in the music. Was that intentional?
yes, if that is intentional, yes, because although I don't play synthesizer on this album because I have I prefer to concentrate on the vocals and the lyrics.
Mhm.
Roy Ole Førland, the synth player, we have the same background, we have the same we are the same age. So
Mhm.
we have grown up with the same music. We both loved synth music since we were little, and prog rock. Also. So we have the exact same kind of background. So when we worked, we figured out this time because the album was mostly created during Corona times.
Oh, okay.
So we were Yeah, and we were sitting there lonely in each other, I was sitting at one place, he was sitting in another place, and we figured out that this is actually pretty cool. Wait a minute, this we
Mm.
can use for what it is, with having this ice cold kind of uh, sad thing with the synths, only synths and vocals.
Mhm.
There are additional drums and there are additional synths and mora harpa and dreieljire. That's like the string instruments
Mhm.
afterwards. But our idea when working on it, making the songs, was that it was only going to be synth and my vocals this time, just to keep it like lonely. Like, and that's
Mm,
part of the reason the Islet name, you know.
right.
Mm.
How much of the feeling that the world was feeling during the pandemic time is implemented in Islet?
Nothing. Sorry.
Okay, that's a fair answer too. So tell me, what do we need to know about Islet? What can we expect from it?
I guess that because the creation of the melodies and that was Johnny Cohen, but that was the only thing we used there was the feeling of loneliness, which I guess everybody had, or most people
Yeah,
had. That is the
yeah.
only aspect we took from that time. But I actually went to since I um, do the lyrics afterwards, I went to Portugal. I've never been to Portugal before.
Yeah.
So I went there to get inspiration because I get inspiration for lyrics by walking in nature and just
Hmm.
experiencing stuff. So I went down and then I just saw where I was there for a month, and I just saw where is this taking me? And I had this extreme like um I wanted to go. I looked out in the ocean,
Hmm.
and I'm thinking I'm going more west. I'm going even further. And then I found the Azores, which is also Portuguese. But I traveled out the Azores, and there I found this magical islet. So it is actually we have kind of a fairy tale, mysterious. We are always into mysterious stuff, me and Royola. So it's like without revealing too much, I am full on uh yeah, into mystery, but also kind of things that happens in everyday life.
Yeah. I love that a lot of that is parallels between, daily life and Norse ideology, Norse mythology. I hear that once
Yeah.
in a while in all the music that you do, not just this project. But that's a beautiful thing. Is it important to you to represent your heritage that way?
No, I should probably say yes, but no, not really. But I do, but I do love our old stories and old fairy tales because there are um a lot of really, really nice fairy tales from Norway.
Hmm. Hmm.
That
I
is
love that.
full of, trolls and creatures of the, crows that take you to the underworld. You have
Yeah.
the ravens, and you have, but you have a lot of things that I love in it. So when every time I read those stories, I get these pictures in my head, and it's very. I recommend people that you, for example, that if you haven't read fairy tales from Norway, I
Yeah.
recommend people to do that. Mm.
I would love that
So
because
that
the mythology interests me for sure. Like
yes,
the two wolves that sort of chase each other, and that's day and night, or I think I heard something like that before. I might be mixing it up, but that's interesting to me. Mjolnir and the story behind Thor's hammer, like it's not just a movie. There's more to it than that,
mm,
than what we see
yeah,
with Marvel movies. That's a beautiful thing, and that's not something that we get, exposed a lot to in the US unless we look for it, which
yes,
we have to dig
and
deeper.
and yes, and the fairy tales that were collected by Asbjørnsen, like two guys that were like
Hmm.
walking around and or by a horse, traveling around all Norway, and they collected stories. I think it was in the 18th century, 19th
Mm,
century, or 18th century, and all this. That's more like folk tales, which are super interesting because they have a lot of things that clearly comes from older times
right, right,
like
right.
like the sagas and stuff. But they also have the newer times, which is of course not new, but it's like from the 18th or 19th century.
Got it.
So if you, yeah, it's I love them. I love them.
They're so fascinating. At the time that we're talking, Islet has been out for a little bit now. What's the reception been like so far?
I think the reception has been actually surprisingly good, because we were thinking that this is such a, it's synth based. It's like vocals is it's a bit weird maybe. So we were thinking, yeah, it's probably going to be for that, yeah, half for half, like. But we have to make the music we like. We
Yes.
never make anything we don't like. But for most part, it's been really, really good. People have been very, uh, how do you say it? My English is not that well.
I think your English
It,
is great, but it's been positive, it sounds like.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's been very positive.
Yeah.
It was only I've only seen one person. That is fair enough. That can happen. That were longing a bit for. Oh, I wish uh, Lindy-Fay makes the music she used to like, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
But I only seen one of those, and all the others have been very positive.
That's great.
And
And
also,
so
yeah, it's super great. Yeah.
what's next for you? What's next for the project, Wardruna, anything? Just in general, what can we look forward to?
Yes, but Runa, it's in the music making. That's the only thing I can say there. But that people already know. Einar has announced that. And for us in Dei Farne, we will go to Cyprus 29th of March. We will have a concert there.
Oh, that's exciting. I've never been to Cyprus, but I've
No,
heard it's
not me
beautiful.
either. Yeah, same here. I heard it's beautiful, and we are super excited to go there. And I know there will also be more concerts that is it's actually dealing with these days. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hopefully
So
the
I
US.
can't say where yet, but it's going to happen. We are going
Yes.
to tour.
Yes. Hopefully the US. My fingers are crossed. That would be exciting.
That would be fun. That would be fantastic. But you have to have these working visas and stuff. So
It's yeah. I've talked to many musicians about that. I think it happened with enslaved ones where they were supposed to go through Canada and they couldn't for whatever reason.
yeah,
There was supposed to be a tour just because of those logistic issues, not because they didn't want to be there. They do. It's just
yeah,
they
yeah.
were running into those issues. That's a challenge. Have you dealt with those in your touring career before?
Yes, yes, I have, and I was so disappointed because we were actually invited. I think it was last year to a festival in Oregon, alternative music festival in Oregon, and we
Fun.
couldn't because some of the band members they don't have the visa, the working visa,
Uh,
so we couldn't. And because it takes some time to apply for it.
yeah. How long does it take? A couple months or
Yeah, 2-3 months, I guess, something like
okay.
that. And you are not sure if you get it but
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so
There's always that part of it, but we
yeah,
appreciate
but we
everything you're
hope.
doing. I know.
Yeah, we will. I'm positive. I think in one day we will come over.
Yes, I'm excited.
Yes.
I'm appreciating everything you're doing. Everything that you're putting out is super exciting. I can't wait for what's next. Lindy, thank you for your time.
Tusen takk. Thank you so much.